And what I saw as I traveled to Damascus was unlike anything that I thought I'd ever seen. At that time, the water had already started to recede, and we had people stranded in Taylor's Valley for 2 days that we could not get to because the roads had washed out, bridges had washed out, creeper trail was gone, and I just couldn't. It was hard to watch, hard to believe this was actually happening. When they first approached me, I was like, I know nothing about construction. But there was just something that I was like, this is a community that needs us. If we don't start working now, we're going to lose residents and they won't come back. And we all just had to commit and say, okay, what needs to be done and who's going to do it? And we knew if we waited on state or federal assistance that it could be years later. And we rebuilt over 100 homes in a year. In a year. 8 of those were complete rebuilds that we had either lost the full home or it was too damaged to restore it in any kind of way. But we were able to do 90 houses. We were able to get in there, whether it was a roof or the siding or whether it was drywall or muck and gut or whatever it was, minor to moderate damage. We were able to restore 90 of those and rebuild 8 complete houses. But we had pulled a team together from the faith community, from the banking and financial institutions who had construction experience, who had community organizing experience, our small business owners. And we all sat around a table, not much larger than the one that we're sitting at. And we all just had to commit and say, okay, what needs to be done and who's going to do it? Today, we've been able to raise over 1.8 million in actual dollars. And I would say in supplies and all of the equipment, we're probably well over $2.5 million in what we were able to raise in that amount of time.
In such a short amount of time.
So 8 of those completely rebuilt. 90 were minor to moderate damage. So we're utilizing Butch Meredith and Impact Missions largely on those rebuilds. They have a lot of experience. They travel all over the country, but we are also using volunteers who came in from all over the country. Now, I will tell you the storm aid teams that came in and rebuilt 8 of our homes, phenomenal. They do this all over the country. Storm aid travels there, the Amish arm of Mennonite Disaster Service. And the way that they work is they have a couple of blueprints on homes of, 1, 2, 3 bedroom, what that looks like, 1, 2 bath. We sat down with the families and had intentional conversations about what we wanted, what they wanted out of their home, what they wanted it to look like, pick out colors. Like I said, we wanted some dignity to be a part of the process. We knew that we weren't going to be able to replace the memories of the homes or, the specifics of what they had before, but we wanted to get as close as possible and make this a place where people could make new memories and be comfortable and safe. And so we sat down with them. We broke ground, I believe, on the first house on January 27th or 28th of the complete rebuilds, and we had the first one done by April. Tony, would send me a picture in the day of, a house that, we were laying the foundation, and by the end of the day, he'd send me another picture, and, we would have it framed. And it's like, how does this happen? But, they would send down teams who mainly would stay for a week at a time. They had specialties, whether it was framing a house or laying the foundation or masonry or, whatever that looked like. And those teams would work for that week. We put them up at a Camp Ahistody over in Laurel Bloomery, and they would just go work. And it was amazing. And we are so indebted to them. For them, it was all about giving glory to God and like the skills that they had been given and being able to put those back to use. And it's just amazing to see what they were able to do. It's amazing what you can accomplish when no one cares about who gets the credit. None of us wanted our name on this. None of us were seeking awards or recognition, or this was about protecting our community and creating safe spaces for our families and providing them with a life better than they had it before. And so whatever we had to do to make that happen, it was putting ourselves aside and just doing that. That in the time of a crisis, that there's no hesitation. We never had to wait on a response. If we asked for something, it was there. If it wasn't there, we'll find it. And, and Well, we tell stories a time and time again, and we're a very faith based organization. A lot of us have backgrounds of faith, and there was a lot of prayerful consideration that went into a lot of this. But there were a lot of days that we were like, I remember sitting down at the table with Tony a couple of times, and there was a period of time where we thought we were going to have to slow down because the money was just going to run out. We just sat and we were like, okay, we're just going to pray about this and see which projects we're going to slow down on. How are we going to communicate with them? And then by the end of the day, Tony would call me and he was like, we've got $150,000 donation and we don't have to stop. And it was just like that every time. Tony tells a story about needing box fans at one point, and he just randomly checked his phone and he had a voicemail for 39 box fans or, whatever it was. And so things just kept showing up. But, people kept showing up. Whatever we needed, they were willing to support. They had a neighbor who had it, or they knew somebody. And that was the thing, is people who were impacted were out there helping other people. Their house is destroyed and they're out there helping someone else. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing to just watch community come together. And I think that's what we all envision what community should be all the time.
Find a way.